Hey, welcome back to YT Finance, and this is the channel where I went to business school so you didn't need to, and today we are talking about Sofi Technologies SOFI stock, which is a fintech company or a financial technology company, which is basically a digital bank that offers anything someone would possibly need relating to finance through their one-stop shop app. Recently, the SOFI stock price has been declining, and it's not surprising because many growth companies and stocks have been declining due to the tensions between Russia and Ukraine, as well as the Federal Reserve increasing the interest rates to combat inflation. And this makes for a rapidly changing environment specifically for the financial industry, and because SOFI Technologies is wrapped up in both of those sections, particularly being a growth technology stock and being involved in the financial industry, this has hit SOFI Technologies extremely hard. The main goal of SOFI Technologies right now is to transform the banking industry by offering their consumers and customers their app, which is truly a one-stop shop for all financial services that they could possibly need, which would include personal loans, mortgages, savings accounts, credit cards, debit cards, and wealth management products, among a plethora of other things, on top of a very innovative business model of cross-selling and upselling due to their flywheel strategy. Technically, if we compare SOFI Technologies to their 52-week high, SOFI is trading at a substantial discount right now, which is why many investors are absolutely jumping in on this stock right now because it's trading below their fair value price. However, we're going to get into talking about their fair value price later in this video. Also, for more videos like this one, remember to go and smash that like button right now, comment your thoughts down below about SOFI Technologies, subscribe if you are new, and without further ado, let's continue. Despite the recent negative market sentiment, SOFI Technology hasn't done anything fundamentally wrong as a business. SOFI Technologies fundamentally is still very strong, and the only reason why the stock price has fallen recently is due to macroeconomic factors, nothing inherently wrong with the business itself, which provides us as investors a fantastic buying opportunity into stocks like these, so we can buy on weakness even though the company itself is still very strong. However, later in this video, I will go over the bearish news regarding SOFI Technologies stock, because the company was originally anticipating a catalyst for their SOFI stock price due to the student loan moratorium ending, which basically is legislation that has frozen the many student loans, which means students aren't required to actually pay on their loans as of right now, and these loans are not accruing interest in some regards, which does not incentivize these students to actually refinance these loans with SOFI Technologies. And the reason why this is detrimental to SOFI Technologies is that SOFI Technologies actually makes a lot of their revenues from student loan refinancing and making loans and refinancing other loans. So this has hit them very hard, but we will talk more about that later. Overall, before I go over the bad news, I want to make it clear that the bearish market sentiment is why the SOFI stock price is falling, and it doesn't have anything to do with the company itself. Investors are avoiding investing into risky technology stocks such as fintech stocks, which would include SOFI Technologies. So this is a macroeconomic problem that has been exacerbated due to geopolitical tensions. However, it doesn't have anything to do with these companies individually, which ultimately means that this is a good buying opportunity and that we should buy this company on weakness. However, always make sure to do your own research, and of course, this is not investing advice. I am just saying what I am doing. And the reason why I like SOFI Technologies is I really truly believe in their strong operating and business model. SOFI has everything it needs to succeed in the future, and even though the student loan moratorium has not ended as of yet, eventually it will have to end, and when it does, SOFI Technologies could receive a flood of students wanting to refinance their student loans, and I am very excited for that, and that's going to be a fantastic catalyst, not only for the company in general, but also for the SOFI stock price. And now that we went over the very positive news, let's talk about some of the bearish news, and we are going to go to a bearish author that actually says that you should sell SOFI stock or at least not invest into it right now. So let's see what he has to say, because let's weigh both sides. SOFI has had multiple headwinds come up against it, despite projecting very strong 2022 results, which should actually make investors very excited. Now, with that being said, there also is steep competition developing right now for SOFI, but in my personal opinion, SOFI Technologies is clearly a market leader in the fintech space. SOFI has very strong products, product sales, and an active customer base. So why is this one financial reporter so bearish on the company? Well, he starts off with the student loan moratorium, because recently in March, the Biden administration quietly extended extended the student loan moratorium, which was originally going to expire on May 1st. And for the reasons that we talked about earlier, this was supposed to ignite the SOFI stock price. So this actually removes a short-term catalyst for the SOFI stock price. However, if the only reason you invested into SoFi Technologies was to trade off of this catalyst, then honestly, this video is not even for you. This is for a long-term holding opportunity in SoFi Technologies, and to me, there is still a reason to celebrate because this does not remove the catalyst completely, it just pushes it further down the road. Because eventually, these students will be incentivized to pay back their loans, the moratorium will end, and SoFi could receive a flood of customers and students trying to refinance their loans. Actually, there would be even more students now, because right now the pool of students that don't have to pay their loans are gradually increasing because people are continuously graduating. So the pool for SoFi is actually just getting bigger, which is going to make the catalyst even more effective. Also, in previous videos, we went over how they acquired Technisys and how they're going to integrate their Technisys technology with their Galileo platform, which is going to save them around $75 to $85 million between 2023 and 2025, and it's also going to save them around $60 million to $70 million each year after 2025, on top of SoFi achieving revenue from Technisys as well as Galileo. So not only are they saving on costs, they are also generating revenue from this, and to me that's an extremely bullish sign. Another thing that I want to point out is that SoFi Technologies is becoming a household name due to their amazing brand awareness. They are doing very well in terms of their overall marketing of their products. And although SoFi Technologies, in my opinion, can't compete with the interest rates that credit unions offer, SoFi Technologies is still doing fantastic in terms of their fintech platform. The company is also extremely resilient and stable. For instance, the pandemic threw a huge curveball at SoFi Technologies, however, they still are continuously increasing the revenues. Likewise, the student loan moratorium coming out, which SoFi didn't anticipate, threw another curveball at their number one revenue source, yet SoFi Technologies is still increasing their overall revenues. Again, another problem of the Federal Reserve increasing interest rates at least 5 times in 2022 threw another curveball at SoFi Technologies, but SoFi is so resilient they have actually already anticipated and put that into their projections in terms of their margins and their revenue outlook. So currently the company expects their contribution margin to range between 40% to 50% for its lending business, and this is very achievable. And more good news is that this has forced SoFi Technologies to become diversified within its product offerings because it operates off of 3 main business segments. Now, the author of this article is very bearish and negative about SoFi Technologies, and he doesn't support an investment into SoFi Technologies because he says that there are multiple valuations for SoFi Technologies that are only worth around $7.75. However, if we look at the current projections according to analysts for SoFi Technologies, we can see that they range all the way from $10 on the low end up to $22 on the high end, while the current stock price trades at only $9.81. Likewise, I would say a more accurate fair value price target is from Morningstar, which gives this company a 5 out of 5 stars with a fair value estimate of $20 in the next 12 months, which means that we could literally double our money from SoFi Technologies in 2023, which is going to be a year from now. Now, the author of this article actually advocates to buy into other types of companies, such as Visa, which is a very safe bet, as well as MasterCard, because MasterCard is a very strong credit card brand. Now, I say there is nothing wrong with investing into Visa and MasterCard, as well as investing into SoFi Technologies. I personally own SoFi, Visa, and MasterCard, and I don't think it's an either or. I don't think we should only invest into SoFi and not invest into Visa and MasterCard, or only invest into Visa and MasterCard because they're safer and not invest into SoFi Technologies. So I would disagree with the author here. I don't think there is any problem here of investing into all 3 of these companies simultaneously. However, I will agree with the author that Visa and MasterCard are definitely better companies overall fundamentally than SoFi Technologies, but SoFi really isn't trying to compete with these companies. They do very different things overall, so I honestly don't even understand this comparison from the author. He also says that SoFi Technologies is very expensive, investors are going to buy it at a premium, and I would say that yes, they are buying it at a very slight premium, but it's a growth company. People tend to buy growth companies at a premium so it can grow into its valuation, and then once it does, the growth from then on will achieve long-term price appreciation. So you're betting on the future projections of SoFi, not the current valuation. So although yes, you are trading at a premium currently, if you look back 10 years from now, you would say that SoFi Technologies is extremely cheap right now. And this is why the author says that he likes to invest into Citigroup, because they have a very good price to earnings ratio that is only in the mid single digits, and that they also offer a dividend of around $2.04 per share, unlike SoFi, which does not offer a dividend, and investors are just betting on the future stock price appreciation of the overall stock price, which is a reflection of how the business is doing most of the time. He also points out that their quarter one adjusted net revenues are going to come in between $280 million and $285 million, which is around a $30 million to $35 million reduction in their original net revenues for quarter one because of the negative impact from the Biden administration not ending the student loan moratorium. Because originally, for SoFi's 2022 projections, they thought that the student loan moratorium was going to end during the first or second quarter, so now they have to change their overall projections. But even if that's true, I don't think that that's actually going to necessarily prevent someone from investing into this company. This company is still a good company fundamentally, and like I said earlier, the catalyst is still there, it's just not going to come when we initially thought it was. Also, he says that SoFi is a company that needs to prove itself before investors start to invest in it. And I agree with this type of logic. However, for SoFi Technologies and other growth stocks, it can be argued that we are investing into a growth stock not based on its current valuation, but on its future appreciation and growth prospects. So we are anticipating that the SoFi stock will prove itself, and after it proves itself, the SoFi stock price is going to absolutely ignite. So for me personally, I would want to invest now, well before the company proves itself, so when it does and the stock price ignites, I can guarantee that I got in at a good deal and a very cheap stock price. But this also comes down to which type of investor you are and if you feel comfortable investing into SoFi Technologies in this way. Now, I do think that we should wait for SoFi to prove itself. That does go without saying, but I think SoFi, according to their projections, will prove itself, and we can see that in the projections. So it's not a 50-50 chance of it will prove itself or it won't prove itself. I think it's more of a 70-30%, with the odds being in our favor that it will prove itself, and the projections actually show us that that will happen if the projections are correct. The author then concludes by saying, amid the higher interest rate increases and the higher interest rate environment that the Federal Reserve has instituted on top of the student loan moratorium not ending, this has drastically affected SoFi Technologies as well as other finance stocks, including fintech companies. And I agree with him on that, except I would add that because we see weakness in the overall stock market, that is not due to the inherent fundamentals, financials, or growth projections of the company, that we should use this as a good buying opportunity. But like I've said multiple times before, I never allocate more than 5% of my portfolio to one singular stock because that would be bad risk management, but I would love to hear your thoughts down below. Remember to go and smash that like button right now, subscribe if you are new, comment down below your thoughts about SoFi Technologies, and without further ado, I will see you in the next YT video.